Hi everyone, welcome to Byte and Beyond with Uday. In this video, we are going to apply singleton design pattern using Enum. So what we are going to do, we will create an Enum. Using Enum, we will create multiple instances and we will see are those instances are same or not. All right. And additionally, Enum provides a simple and strongly protected way to implement singleton in Java. That I will explain you why it is simple and why it is strongly protected. All right, so let's jump to the code. So earlier we have seen lazy singleton design pattern. Why lazy? Because in order to create an instance, all right, I need to invoke this method. I need to call get instance method. All right, this is the previous class which we have seen. All right, in the previous video. In order to create an object, I need to invoke this method, get instance method. All right. So if you see this tester class, I'm calling this method. Without calling this method, there won't be any object. All right. By default, there is no object created for us. In order to create first object, all right, in singleton pattern, we need to invoke this method. All right. So that is why it is lazy. It is creating an object when we ask, not upfront. All right. So that is why the earlier pattern is lazy. Now, enum, when you are creating an object or when you are trying to apply singleton design pattern using enum, that is a eager design pattern. Why? Because let me first show you the uh, uh, singleton design pattern using enum. So here is the class which I have already created to save our time. So you can see this is enum, not a class. And here is the singleton design pattern name or the class name or the enum name basically in our case. So this is eager config manager. All right. And I am over here, I'm creating an instance. So this is our object. All right. So why this is you can see I'm just declaring this variable over here and Java will create an object for us. All right. So why this is eager? Because when I declare this object name over here, this is the object name which I am declaring. All right. So just when I declare it and when I start my program, Java upfront create this object for us. All right. I am not asking for it. Java upfront creating an object for us. Whenever we are using enum, Java upfront creating an object for us without asking. So that is why the enum, whenever we are using enum, it is called eager singleton design pattern. All right. Because over here, I am not asking for an object. Whenever I start my program, Java upfront create an object, all right, and it keep it with us, keep it with it, all right. And whenever I ask for it, it basically just provide, all right. And the now before we talk more about, let's taste this eager config manager, all right. So I have created a simple tester class over here. So you can see. To save our time, I have already, created some code snippets. All right. So what I'm doing over here, let me explain you. Uh, Over here, I am calling this eager config manager, which is our enum. All right. And I am asking for this instance. All right. Over here, when I asking, meaning I am asking for the already created object. All right. Java is not creating an object when I am asking. All right. Java has already created that object for us. So, so enum basically work that way. You don't need to ask for anything. Whenever you start your class or start your application, Java will upfront create an instance. If there are multiple enum constants, there are multiple, these variables, constant variables, then Java will create multiple objects. All right. But in our case, we are following singleton design pattern. So one constant is enough. All right. to achieve the singleton design pattern. So, so you can see eager config manager. I am calling this enum and asking for an object. All right. So I have received an object and then I am calling this add config method. All right. Simple as that. Similarly, I am creating configure manager too. And in the end, what I am doing over here, I'm comparing config manager 1 and config manager 2 just to make sure are these instances or are this reference variables pointing to the same object or not. All right. So let's run this class and figure it out. All right. So you can see um, I'm calling add config twice. So that is why there is two times configuration added. All right. And then over here you can see I'm comparing configure manager 1 and 2. All right. So what it is returning? It is returning true because this two reference variable configure manager and 2 pointing to the same object inside the heap memory. All right. So that is why it is returning true. Now you have already seen our implementation, um, singleton design pattern implementation using enum. All right. So over here we have seen enum provides simple, all right, simple implementation that we can see. It is pretty simple, right? I just need to declare the enum. I just need to declare the constant. And I can define n number of methods over here. Similarly, I can create, set config, right? Set config. You can see set config. That's how I can create n number of methods. But for the simplicity, I have created only one. All right. So you can see the simplicity. If you compare with this, with the lazy one, you can see just to use singleton design pattern, I need to write this much of code. All right. Uh, I'm creating an variable. I'm marking the constructor as private. I'm writing a static method to get an object. All right. I need to do lot of boilerplating code in order to get the single object or in order to achieve the singleton design pattern. All right. But in case of enum, it is pretty straightforward. I just I just create the enum. I just declare the constant. I can declare over here n number of methods. All right. But yes, of course, in enum, I can create, all right, instance 2 as well. All right. So Java is not stopping for me, but that is in my control. I am doing this inside the enum. So how many objects I need to create, that is in my hand, not the outsider hand. All right. Because earlier we have seen using the reflection API, huh, yes, outsider was able to break the singleton design pattern in case of lazy. All right. But I will show you in case of enum it is not possible. So bear with me. I will show you. But for now, let me if I'm creating instance 2, it will create an another object. All right. So let me just show you the demo. All right. I don't need this one. I am going to directly compare. All right. So what I'm doing over here, you can see eager config manager, and instead of instance constant, I'm calling the instance to constant. All right. And I'm assigning to configure manager 3. All right. And I'm comparing config manager 1 and 3. So you can guess what it will return. It will return false. Let's see. Let's run this and figure it out. All right. You can see it is returning false. That is fine. All right. That is fine because eager is able to, capable to create multiple constants. So it's all right. All right. It doesn't matter. I mean, and even though even with configure manager 3, I can use this add config method and all. All right. But how many constants I want to declare, that is in my hand, not in the outsider hand. All right. So I can I know that this is for the singleton design pattern. All right. So I will create only one instance. I don't want to create multiple instance over here. All right. So by declaring only one constant, I can achieve singleton design pattern. All right. Now let me remove this and show you how this is protected. All right. So let me remove this. Okay. Now here is the reflection snippet I have prepared for you. All right. So you can see, similar to lazy design pattern, what I am doing over here, I'm I'm using reflection API to break the R eagle, not eagle, pardon me, R eager singleton design pattern. All right. Whenever I say eager, I'm talking about our new design pattern which we are achieving using Enum. All right. So what I'm doing, I'm trying to use reflection API just like earlier that we used to do in case of lazy singleton design pattern. You can see over here we have used. You can see this is the snippet. And we were using the reflection API. Alright. Similarly, I'm trying to remove. Let me remove this. Perfect. So similarly, over here, I'm trying to create a new object using singleton design pattern. All right. So what I am doing, eager config manager, that is pointing to my enum implementation of. All right. Then I am getting get declared constructor. All right. And then I am setting to accessible, and then I am calling new instance. All right. And I am assigning to configure manager 3, and then I am comparing configure manager 1 and 3. All right. Simple as that. Ask for the constructor, make it accessible, create a new instance using this constructor field. All right. And then compare this configure manager 1 and 3. And you might have noticed I have written this in try and catch block. So let's see what happens. All right. So let me run this. So you can see, all right. You can see this is the line where our reflection implementation starts. All right. So you can see creating configure manager 3, and this is the statement from the catch block. All right. You can see over here, reflection attack failed. All right. Reflection attack failed. So it is whenever I'm trying to execute these statements, all right, this code snippet, Java is basically stopping or throwing an exception. All right, Java does not let outsider to create a new object, and it is basically throwing an exception. And I can see the exception over here. All right, so you can see this statement is not printed because we haven't reached till this statement. Java is blocking it upfront. All right, and it is throwing an exception, so that is why this statement is not even there. All right, so object is not created. All right, so you can see we received the exception. So that, you know, that proves this line as well. Enum provide a simple, we have already seen, the implementation is pretty simple. Nothing, we don't need to write any boilerplate code to achieve singleton. All right, we are just declaring the constant, and I am declaring n number of methods whatever is required. All right, so first, the simplicity is there. Secondly, it is strongly protected. All right, that we have just seen. We have tried to break this eager singleton design pattern using reflection API. All right, and it failed. Reflection attack didn't work over here. All right, so it is. strongly protected way to implement singleton in Java. All right. And similarly, you can see we have created config manager 1 and 2, and we have tried to compare, and it was returning true. All right. That we can see over here. All right. This one. And if I go over here, you can see this is true. And we have already seen this. Can reflection break enum singleton? No. We have just tried and it failed. All right. So what we have tried? We have tried to use reflection API and try to create a new object. And Java blocked. Java basically blocked that operation, and we received the exception. You can see in the slide as well. We have received the exception, and yeah, this is the configure manager 1 and 2, which we were comparing in our code. And using the reflection, we have tried to create one, but we failed. All right. So what it says, enum singleton protects instance creation from normal reflection based attacks. All right. So reflection APIs cannot break our singleton design pattern. All right. So yeah, that is it for this video. I hope you have learned something new today. And if you want this source code will be available in the GitHub, and the GitHub repo link I will add in the YouTube video description. And as always, if you find my video useful, then please like, share, subscribe, comment. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.